We are officially halfway through 2021, and today I'm sitting down to share with you our June 2021 budget report, showing you all of the income that we brought in this month, how we spent or saved every dollar, and also give you a net worth update to track our progress. I will say that this month was filled with some exciting new things, as Jacob actually got a new job, and we also went over budget on some categories too. So get ready for this June budget report. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Here on my channel we talk about life and money and how you can enjoy life while still accomplishing financial goals through the use of a budget. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, then scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any new videos. Like I said, today I'm sharing our June 2021 budget report to give you a little bit of backstory about me and my family. I live with my husband Jacob and our son Peter, who is 13 months, and we live in Portland, Oregon. We own our own home and we both work from home. I work for myself here, and Jacob, like I said, actually got a new job this month, and it is completely 100% remote, and we are so excited about that. So that's kind of a little bit of backstory. I also want to let you know that the budget template I'll be using is one that you can get yourself on my shop. I will leave a link to that in the description box down below. It's an instant download that works in Excel, numbers, or even Google Sheets, so you can check it out there. And without further ado, let's get into this budget. So the first thing that we have here is our income section. I have Jacob's income and my income individually blocked out. Like I said, I work for myself, and then Jacob works in product marketing. And so we have our income blocked out for privacy, but you can see our grand total. We budgeted $86.23, but we actually brought home $91.18.32. We did get $50 of extra money, and this is something that Jacob had earned for doing a couple like little helping things. That makes it sound like he's 10 years old, but he was doing some tasks for people and they paid him for it. So $91.18. We use a zero-based budget, which means all of our income equals all of our expenses, savings, like all the money out. So now to show you how we spent every dollar this month, there were definitely some not so great things that we did this month. So let's get into it. First off is our tithe. That we are Christians and we believe in giving to our church and other organizations. So we gave $8.75 to our local church this month. We also then, I didn't actually update this. We support 2 children in Rwanda through Africa New Life, and each one is $39 a month, but I forgot to update that. So let me fix my entry and we'll get back to this to be $78. All right, so that's all updated. $78 is what we gave to Africa New Life this month. We then also support an additional missions organization for $40 a month. Next we have is our mortgage. Like I said, we own our home. We have like a 4-bed, 3-bath home in Portland, Oregon, and we pay $2,220.50. So that's a pretty much a standard. Definitely a standard. And what's included in our mortgage payment are the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So those things go into it. Next we have is our HOA. We live in a neighborhood with a homeowners association, so we pay $121.46 each month for that. Next we have is water sewer, which was $93.31 this month, and then natural gas, which is $22.99. And this is everything for like our heat and cooking. So obviously since we're getting into summer months, heat was pretty low. Next we have is trash. We pay trash every other month. This month was a trash month, so that was $58.72. Then we have electric. We paid $64.11 in electric. This makes sense. We've been running our air conditioner more now that it's getting into summer time. I will tell you that our July bill will be higher because in Oregon we just had record-breaking heat this last week, like the last week of June. And so we were running our air conditioner a lot more. It was like 115, I think, one day. I think that's what it topped out at, something like that. And we are used to having it be like 85 during the summer, so it was insane. So next we have is internet, which is a standard $44.99. And then phones, which is $109.59. This is for my cell phone and Jacob's cell phone. Next we have is insurance, which is $109.72. This is for car insurance for both of our cars. And then we have life insurance, which is $52.89. So that's a policy for myself and my husband, Jacob. Next we have is groceries, and this one was so over. I literally had to go back and make sure I didn't enter in something twice because I was shocked as to how much we were over. But when you put it all together, it does make sense of why this was over so much. We budgeted $400 and we spent $533.09. We've been over on groceries recently, but never this much. And I think a big reason for that is that Jacob and I are actually starting a diet, or just like healthier eating, this next week. And so we went to Costco and we loaded up on a bunch of good alternatives. So Jacob's going to be doing more like fully keto, and I'm just going to be trying to do like low carb and like no sugar. So kind of keto, but just mostly just trying to like cut out the garbage that we've been eating. And so I'll be interested to see how it goes. I'll keep you guys posted on any sort of progress that we may make, but it was definitely time. And yeah, that being said, we spent a bit more on like a Costco haul to get like things that would be better alternatives for our diet. So that was a fail for sure. Definitely a fail. Next we have is eating out, and hey, this was actually pretty good. We budgeted $150 and we spent $158.25. So I'm gonna call that a win, even though it's $8 over. We've recently been going over a bit on eating out, so I think that keeping that only $8 over is a win. Next we have is gas. We spent $57.30 on gas this month, which was also pretty close. And gas prices are going, have been going up, so there's that. Next we have is fun, and we budgeted $50. We spent a whole $4.10 on fun, which included parking for when I've taken Peter to the zoo this month. Next we have is office. So like I said, Jacob started a new job and it is fully remote. So they actually gave him a stipend for office equipment. So he actually bought a new desk and a chair and some monitors and everything. Like, he's all set up now. And so they just gave him money for that. And so we just budgeted it in our budget here. So they did pay him out for it, like in his paycheck. So we were planning to spend $500, and then we actually spent $467.90 on office related equipment. So Jacob is like ready. It's funny to think back to when the pandemic started, because Jacob was, working in person, and then all of a sudden, I know everyone experienced this, but like all of a sudden going to work from home. And so Jacob was working on like the kitchen table for a bit, for like a couple weeks, and then he eventually moved to we bought like a little IKEA desk and like a little chair from Target as his little office space, like in our room. Anyway, it's just morphed as time has gone on, but we never thought that it would be so long, and so just being able to work at the kitchen table seemed fine until you realize how uncomfortable that chair is. So I'm glad that he now officially has his whole office space set up. Next we have is miscellaneous, and we budgeted $150. We actually spent $203 in miscellaneous, so that was over as well. And then we have Peter. Peter gets $50 a month, our son Peter. We put $50 a month into a brokerage account that's in our names, what we plan to give to him eventually. We'd love to be able to help him out someday with like a first car or a wedding or down payment on a house or something. So we send $50 to that brokerage account every month. And then for college, we also are putting $200 a month into Peter's 529 college savings plan, and that gets taken out of our accounts as well and just moved to his savings. So as a grand total, we spent $5,564. So we are over by $135 on all of our normal expenses this month, which I feel like isn't actually that bad for like as over as we were on some of these grocery items. We ended up, not spending as much on the fun. So, I mean, we were over, but yeah, not terrible, but not great. Okay, so next we're moving into the savings section of our budget. I love this part because I love working on saving money. So first off, we have our emergency fund. We keep our emergency fund in a high yield savings account, and so it earned a little bit of interest this month, $9.67. So we now have $20,026.19 in our emergency fund. Next we have is Jacob. Jacob gets $150 of personal spending money each month. He also got an additional $50 from something else that he was doing, so that just got added. So he now has $82. I got $100, and the reason why I get less is just because Jacob has more like expensive hobbies that he likes to do, so he likes to be able to spend more money. I just personally don't feel like I need that, so I definitely could have $150 if I wanted, but I just didn't feel like that seemed necessary. So I get $100. I actually spent $213 this month, which was a bit. So I normally don't spend very much. And so we now have $508.70. Next we have is extra giving. We put $50 a month into an extra giving fund, which allows us to say yes to additional giving opportunities when they come up. So we now have $241.40. Then we have a gifts fund. We put $50 a month into this, and we actually ended up having a negative balance from last month, mostly related to like Mother's Day and things like that, and like we went to a baby shower, like these things. So we're actually now at negative $84. So we may have to figure this out. I don't like to have these funds negative. I share this every time, but I'll share it again. The way that we work our sinking funds is that we take the grand total of all funds and keep that amount in a savings account, and then I use my budget spreadsheet to see how much is in each one. So we don't have like a bank account for gifts, and so we don't have a bank account that's negative. It's just like the grand total is in one account. People can work it however they want. I know some people will do like a special bank account per sinking fund, but we just don't operate that way. But yeah, I don't love to be negative, but if you've been watching my channel for a while, then you know that sometimes, almost every month, there's some sort of fund that is negative. So I don't love that. And I guess I'm here to share that no one is a perfect budgeter. I'm not a perfect budgeter, even though I really try and like work on my budget every month and like stick to a plan. Like there's still some things that aren't perfect. Okay, next we have is clothing. At $50 a month, we put into a clothing fund. Now this is a newer sinking fund as well, and this is clothing for myself and Jacob. And we actually spent some money in this. We spent $124.17. I actually got myself like a couple new swimsuits. We're going to Hawaii soon, and a new pair of shorts. And so we are now negative in this fund as well, which I don't love. Okay, next we have is vacation. We put $400 into the vacation fund. We actually spent $2,018.57. So we now have $1,979. We actually bought a flight. We're planning to go to Dallas soon. And then we also booked a couple other things for our vacations coming up. So we're excited about it. We booked like the hotel for a Hawaii trip and everything. So that is our balance, and we keep putting $400 a month into vacation. Next we have is Christmas, which we put $100 a month into. So that's now at $600. We're halfway through the year, halfway to Christmas. And then we have medical. We put $25 a month into medical to cover any sort of co-pays or medical related expense. We spent $107. We now have $31.64. Next we have is cord blood registry. So this is new to this month's budget because we actually did cord blood banking through cord blood registry when Peter was born last year. I love the full experience. It was so easy to do. I'll have a link to cord blood registry in the description box if you want to check them out. But I really enjoyed the experience. That being said, you do have to pay an annual like storage fee, which I totally forgot about until it hit Peter's birthday, and then I realized I had to pay it. So it was $370. So the way that I'm planning to do this now is I will break it up and save that amount like for each month as a sinking fund. So I need to save $31 a month to be able to cover it all by next year. So I added extra in here so that we could cover the fee for this time, as well as then I'll have $31 in there in the fund now, so that by next year we'll have $370 set aside for the banking. Next we have is car maintenance. We put $75 a month into car maintenance. We spent $38.98, so we have $134.73. And then we have house maintenance at $375 to cover any sort of house repair that may come up. We actually bought a generator this month, which was $924.88. I think that 2020 and 2021 has taught us that anything can happen. In February here in Portland, we actually had a crazy ice storm, and I feel like we were one of the few people that never lost power, but basically felt like almost everyone else around us was without power. Even like my mom was without power for over a week, and it was also an ice storm, so it was freezing cold. It was awful, and so everyone was going out to buy a generator at that time. We haven't had to experience that. And then also when we had this extreme heat, the electric company was also threatening maybe like rolling blackouts because everyone is using their air conditioner and things like that. So we just want to be extra safe and have that as a backup. And so we spent $924.88 on a generator that Jacob found on Amazon that he thought would be good for us. So we now have $22.80 in the house maintenance fund. Next we have is household. We put $100 a month into household to cover things like toilet paper, paper towels, like detergent, any other consumable kinds of things for household. We spent $177, so we now have negative $5.92. And next we have is baby. We were very negative in the baby fund to start the month. As you can see, we were at negative 285 basically. So I decided to instead put 500 into this to kind of get back on track. We spent $204 this month on baby related things. I found some great diaper sales, so I kind of stocked up on diapers this month, and hopefully I shouldn't have to buy diapers for another year. And so now we have $10 in the baby fund. I typically put $100 a month into this. Okay, so therefore we spent more money. We allocated more money to our sinking funds. So the big goal that we've been working on is putting money into our brokerage account to be able to save this money, invest this money for future things. We're looking at saving this additionally for retirement, but also thinking maybe someday we use it to pay off a house or do other things. We're not exactly sure yet. And because we don't know, we are just investing this money for now, and we'll figure out what the purpose of this will be later. But every extra dollar we have goes into this investment account. So we put $1177 to go into there. I had actually already transferred $1,500, so we're technically negative $694.32. And again, because this is my sinking fund section and everything evens out in our account, it's technically not negative or anything like that. I just transferred money before I had seen this cord registry bill, before I had decided to add more to the baby fund, and so that just messed up that sinking fund. I thought that we'd be able to cover it in full. That being said, going forward for this month, I guess I get transfer happy, and at the beginning of the month I like to transfer money over to the investment accounts based on what I have in my budget. But we've had just some larger things come up in the last couple months to make this be a negative balance. So for the month of July, actually, because I'm transfer happy, I did transfer money already into our brokerage account, but I did it significantly less. I did half the amount that I'm planning to transfer, and then hopefully at the end of the month I can make the additional transfer so that I will stop being significantly negative in this account. So I'm trying to fix it. I just get very transfer happy. So if any of you are like that, let me know, because I get very excited at the beginning of the month to move all the money over. So as a total, we put $35.53 into our sinking funds, and as you can see, the difference that we have between all the money out and our income is 0. So that means we have a zero-based budget. So before we end the video, I want to show you our June net worth update. Because we are now debt-free, I love being able to track our net worth, and it's just super exciting to see hopefully this number going up every month. Your net worth is all of your assets minus all of your liabilities, and that gives you your net worth amount. Before I share this, I will also state that I remember the day when we hit a $0 net worth, and I was super excited about it. I also remember the day when we had a negative net worth while we were working on paying off almost $90,000 of student loan debt. And I just want to say everyone is at a different chapter in their journey, and you can't compare yourself to someone else, and I think the same to people who are steps ahead of me. So I just want to share that before I start. But let's get into it for this net worth update. So for retirement investments, we put $982.69 into retirement. We ended the month with now $106,000 in retirement specific accounts. This includes 2 Roth IRAs that we have, and then a 401k and a 403b. So we had an increase in this, but the market wasn't as up as it has been in previous months. We didn't see a ton of growth in this, but we did see some growth. There are definitely months when this is negative, so we'll take that. Okay, next we have is our house. I just tracked this amount through Zillow, and this month it looks like the value went down $4,000, so the house is now at $527. Again, I know Zillow isn't the best indicator of this, but actually we did get a broker's price opinion on our house a few months ago, and it ended up being within $5,000 of Zillow. So I'm just going to keep using Zillow as just a general estimate of how much our house is worth. Next we have is our emergency fund. Like I said, we have over $20,000 in the emergency fund that we keep in a high yield savings. We also have now $16,000 in a tax sinking fund. I pulled money out of my business to move into a tax savings account, which I also have in a high yield, because I know I'm going to have to pay this money come April of 2022 to cover taxes. Because I am self-employed, I definitely do pay taxes, and we also take a ton out of Jacob's paycheck to be able to cover that. But yes, I do have to save my money to pay taxes. So we now have $16,000 in that fund. Next we have is sinking funds. So all the additional sinking funds that you saw is now at 5,041. And then Peter's 529 is now at 3469. We saw some growth in there as well. And that brokerage account that we're working on as like our additional financial goal that we aren't exactly sure what it is now at 16,574. And then that brokerage account for Peter is at 3931. And then we have Robinhood. I have a Robinhood account and have a few like single stocks in that. If you want to check out Robinhood and get a free stock, I will have a link to that in the description box below. But I just do this for fun. This isn't like my main investing strategy, but I do have a few like single stocks and things in that. So 1884. And then we have our HSA, which has $28.79. I'm sure we'll use that up pretty soon. Next we have is the Toyota Corolla, which is worth $97.15. And that actually went down a little bit in value. This is kept through Kelley Blue Book. You can also manage all of your net worth, assets, and liabilities through mint.com. That's actually what I use to be able to track this. It like all feeds into Mint's website and shows you like a dashboard. So that's what I personally like to use for this. And they pull all the data from all of your accounts. And then our 2013 RAV4 is now $17,386, which went up almost $300, which is crazy. So we have $727,000 in assets or things that we own. And the only thing that we owe on is our mortgage. And we owe $388,700. We had a decrease in this because we made our mortgage payment and some of that included principal. So that went down $642. So our grand total of net worth is $338,400 is now our net worth. This went up $6,000 this month. Our house equity that I have here is at 138, and we have about 26% equity in our home. So that was a lot of information, but it's always encouraging to see this number hopefully continuing to go up every month, and I love being able to track our net worth. So that is our June 2021 budget update and net worth update. That was a lot of information. In the comments below, let me know what is one budgeting a win that you had for the month of June. And also don't forget, if you want to get this budget template, I will have a link to it in the description box down below so you can check it out there. And with that, I will look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye.
With me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.